Hi, I'm Heather, and this is going to be like so many of my recent videos where I just got to do some first draft video making, and or some of it will be totally usable. I need to speak out loud some of my ideas and synthesize stuff that is going on. Basically have a committee meeting with myself, while also perhaps making some really good content. Okay, I want to get that hose out of the background. And I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to go here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that in the background. Okay, so I'm going to reset. Okay, so I'm practicing kind of the Audrey Hepburn method of figuring out what needs to go. So it's some variation of, right before you leave the house. Who else does this? Oh, it's the gal from LA Story. She's so fucking ridiculous. Anyhow, so Audrey Hepburn said something along the lines of, right before you leave the house, especially if you're going somewhere fancy, do a 360 in front of the mirror, and you'll know you need to remove some of your accessories. Maybe it's more just like the first 3 things you notice, take them off, because I think it was some sort of less is more idea. So please correct me if I'm wrong, or if somebody found the video that it refers to where she says that or whatever, why don't you put it in the comments? Thank you. Yeah, so I'm trying to do the same with my background. So I want to try to maximize pretty backgrounds whenever possible, while also keeping things as simple as possible, because my goal always is, what's the least barrier what's the simplest version of whatever I'm doing can I do that it's good enough for now. And besides, I think the big place that so many people go wrong with whatever project, whether it be a YouTube channel or a course or just whatever, I think the place that a lot of folks go wrong is they don't share any of the process coming up to it. They just have an idea, they do the thing, they build it all in the background. Maybe a couple people know that it's happening, but very little. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, look at this amazing thing I did. And everybody's like, where'd that come from? So I'm more about hey, let's show it as it builds. I mean, what is that? That builds suspense. real life is a better story than scripted, at least. Scripted television and movies, God damn it. Yeah, it's fun once in a while, but there's a lot of cool people in the world. Just watch what they're doing. Don't need to be scripted. Okay. I gotta get better light on myself. I don't want to be so harsh. A little more. Okay. I got it, and then I don't. All right. Okay. Yeah, so what's the simplest version? And even though I'm still wearing the shirt I was wearing when I slept last night, have not bothered to change it. And I know I look schlumpy. Who fucking cares? I mean, I'm in my home office doing what I want to do at the time I want to do it. If somebody wants to stop by and visit, they don't get to tell me how to dress. I get to decide what kind of pants, or if I wear pants, or if I wear a shirt. Even I've been in this backyard a whole lot, just my underpants. I don't know. I feel like it's good to keep your underpants on. if you're going to be sitting on stuff, like don't put your bare ass on other people's stuff. How about that? That's just a pro tip. Don't put your bare ass on other people's stuff. That would be their chairs. That would be their sauna. That would be, any of it. Like, don't put your bare ass on other people's stuff. Just that simple. So even when I'm walking around naked, I wear my underpants. Okay. All right. So I am amazed at what has happened with these dogs I'm with right now. Named Pongo and Hawthorne. Pongo is a Great Dane. I guess he's a poodle mix. I don't see the poodle, but that's what his mama says. And a German Shepherd. The German Shepherd's a rescue. He's been in the home less than a year, I think, or maybe we'll come up on it. Anyway, this is my first sit with them. I can't remember how old the Great Dane is. I think he's about 4. But when I showed up on Sunday afternoon, they were buttheads. Big, big, big buttheads. Like the kind of buttheads that I am totally like, no, this is not flying, you guys. I am not putting up with a single fucking second of this shit. And definitely for the Great Dane, I could tell, with the exception of at dinner time, I could tell his poor behavior was very much just like, he doesn't know how to be a good boy. He just doesn't know how to be a good dog yet. He hasn't learned. I've been teaching him how to be a good dog, and he's fucking delightful. Feeding him still a little bit of a challenge, but man, we've made progress there. So anyhow, I arrive. They're crowding the door. They're like kind of just all over me, just like right up in my space. The Great Dane like did some jumping. So at first I was like writing it off to like, okay, it's excitement. They're responding when I'm giving them appropriate firm commands like off and back and stuff like that. Again, we've got Mr. Hawthorne over here sleeping, so I don't want to actually reenact how I spoke to them. So things were great for a couple of hours. Then, yeah, very sweet. I sent their mom a note and like, oh, they're so delightful. They're very sweet. After a few hours, they're like, all right, we're going to start testing you. The Pongo in particular, she had told me, don't go in the backyard with him. He does these zoomies. They're very, he's a big guy. He'll run into you. He might knock you down. And I don't think she said that he bites, but, oh, you bruised me, buddy. Oh, man. Anyway, I suspect maybe he bites the family, just at least, this kind of biting. Anyhow, so yeah, the first day. So I was out in the backyard. I've got to get a sense of what's going on. So I have to go in all the places. I have to see how they behave, wherever they behave. Oh, good. See, I already took that medicine. Okay. So yeah, so I had to evaluate everything that's going on, kind of get a sense of what's happening. And so obviously right off the bat, while there are some behavior issues here and there's some dominance issues here, dominance from the Great Dane in particular. And so when he shoulder checked me, he was not being playful. I don't know how to describe how a playful kind of, I accidentally ran into you, or or that's part of our game. We run into each other gently. Like I don't know how to explain how that looks different from when a dog's being using that same thing, but in a dominant way. I think the dominant is very easy to recognize, actually. And unfortunately, I think he may be very dominant at home with his people. So anyhow, this little motherfucker right here, big motherfucker, actually, he comes barreling up, and I'm talking to him the whole time because I can see that I know he's still sort of testing me at that point, and he does come. Shoulder checked me, like literally his shoulder was at my shoulder level, and he didn't come all the way to my face, but he knows that he can come to a certain point, and it was, again, not like a, hey, I'm happy and smiley and I'd like to lick you, but more of a like, I'm showing you who's fucking boss and it's not you, lady. So those things I handled very firmly, but not yelling, not screaming, not mad. I mean, I was angry, but it was an appropriate anger. So and handled in an appropriate way. what I think would help so fucking much is if everybody, especially those who own a dog, if you all went and watched, there's got to be some resource that's really good at this. Basic dog behavior and how to understand their language, because dogs are actually really fucking good communicators for the most part, unless they've been taught to be poor communicators, because communication is a learned behavior, whether in humans or in dogs. Anyhow, now that I've spent, I don't know, years plus my lifetime with dogs. Now that I spent years with this pet sitting and I've had a lot of dogs, high volume in a pretty short period of time, there's some very clear commonalities. And one of the biggest ones being most people are not engaging with their dogs in the way that they would if they were in a pack. The dogs think they're in a pack, but the people are not treating them like they're in a pack in some way. And so everything from the way you spend time together in the same room, to where they sleep, to how they eat, where they eat, how you talk to them, when you talk to them, like all of that is really easy to identify if you're really paying attention to your dog and how they're reacting or responding. And and you would, if you were just paying attention, I think you would quickly recognize the difference between a fear response, a dominant response, or a playful or something like that, because the position of the animal or the way, I mean, they look very similar. They look very similar if you don't know what the fuck you're looking for. So yeah, I wish everybody had at least some basic knowledge about pack behavior, and then add on that how to be a good pack leader and how to appropriately create the hierarchy in the home so that the dogs know there are no human beings that are higher in the hierarchy. I mean, that are lower in the hierarchy than them. No human being should ever be lower in hierarchy than the dog. And that is all too common. Yeah, so that's when kids end up in kind of dangerous situations, is when the dog believes they are lower hierarchy. Yeah, and dogs love structure, but not too much structure. Like they're beings also, but what all they want to know is, can they trust you? Are you paying attention to them? Are you listening to them? Are you maybe in human terms, maybe if you've had a 4-year-old in your life, I think 4 is a pretty good one. You've had a 4-year-old in your life. You know that they can communicate actually quite a bit, sometimes even with quite eloquently with words, but often also just with themselves. And always we should remember, even human babies don't know language coming out of the womb, and so really the language that the kids are speaking from the moment they come out of the womb is that of nature, and similar to dogs. Dogs and babies actually speak similarly in a lot of ways. Anyhow, tangent. So yeah, how to be a good pack leader, how to appropriately create the hierarchy in your home, and basic training. Dogs don't need a ton of training. It doesn't. I think, okay, what would I say is most important? I would say, obviously, teaching them back and down and leave it and sit and down, like lying down. Maybe often down. I don't know. Anyway, I think the other thing is that I do use some words like in multiple contexts, but they always seem to understand, because it's not the word they're listening to the way it sounds. So actually I'm realizing that now. Okay, that's why it's no big deal. Like if I say, I'm gonna be right back, that sounds very different than back. So yeah, now I'm no longer worried about the way that word in particular, or down, is used. Down in the command to have them lie down is very different than down, like off me. Okay, basic commands. So sit, lie down, wait. Doesn't even have to be stay. Just wait. Just like I'll let you know when you can come towards me, kind of thing. Wait is very, very, very good. It can be used in lots of contexts. I feel like I've been really successful without stay ever being like particularly strong. For some reason, I just never invested the time in having a really strong stay with my dogs. I also never really felt like there was a reason they had to stay in the same place for a length of time. So that's why weight works great. Anyway, so weight, mine when it's is in varying degrees of I just like mine. It's a little bit of a bark. If I have to, I'm growling mine. And the only reason to growl or bark or like kind of like snap at them is if they're actually doing something wrong. Just like babies, again, like they're very curious. They want to check into stuff. They want to smell stuff. Like their nose is the first sense that pays attention. So if you're using a bunch of fucking words, like they're like what appeal to their nose if you really want their attention. But anyway, gotta let them explore it too. And so I know so many people who are like, the second they see their dog like kind of in a certain plant or something, they assume that they're in there to fuck it up instead of just to sniff it. And so bark at them. And so I'm like, hey, what's going on over there? What'd you find? So then I'm curious too, and I go see, and then I'm like, oh, good dog, you found something. It's the same with when they're alerting, like somebody's at the door or I see a dog across the street. That is them just saying, hey, I see something. Do you see it? Do I need to think, do I need to worry about that, or you got it? That's all they're saying. And so when people like, shut up, or whatever, like that's barking back at them. And so, yeah, so that one gets me. So when I hear a dog, hey, I see something, like, hey, oh yeah, you see something? What's going on? And especially when they don't know me yet. I come look, oh, you see a person. Or a dog, yeah, I see that dog too. Or I don't see nothing. I don't know what you saw. I don't see it. Everything's okay. Thank you. Good dog. Thank you. And good dog. They get that one. And maybe just because of the way you're saying thank you, maybe we're so practiced in saying it that it really has a feel to it. Dogs understand thank you. Just not the word, the sound. They understand the sound. Yeah, usually I would say it's a rare dog that takes more than 3 or so times of them alerting and me saying, oh yeah, what'd you see? Oh, cool. Yeah, I see that dog too. Good dog. Thank you. Good dog. Rarely need more than 3 repetitions of that over the course of, say, a day or so, not like all at once. A very anxious dog, okay, that's not fair. An anxious dog will take longer. Or one that is like habitually has to get really revved up before their people pay attention. I think that's why a lot of dogs are really anxious, because their people don't pay attention until they're like freaking out at them. So if we all learn dogs' language, then, we might pay attention to our dogs a little sooner before they're freaking out. I also would suggest the homework of watching Cesar Millan's show on Disney Plus. Fucking amazing. Every episode has a couple of stories of really common issues for the most part, and not even all of them, they're not always severe either. There's some severe examples, but for the most part, they're really pretty normal things that are happening. And it's usually people out of control of their animal and not recognizing the connection between their energy and their voice tone. They're not recognizing that and how the dog is responding. It's essentially, could look at it as dogs are if you had an external like hologram outside of you that was like, you're in. I gotta watch Inside Out. There's Inside Out 2. I gotta go watch that. Anyhow, thinking of Inside Out, a dog is an outside representation of one of your emotions or energies or whatever's going on inside. One or more of those they are responding to in the moment, in any particular moment. And they do remember repetitive behaviors, but they also can forget them if the behavior that scares them stops. So if you could learn to read a dog and how they're responding, you would far better understand your own impact on yourself in those moments when you're acting in a way that freaks the dog out. And the reality is, however you're affecting a dog, you're affecting humans in the exact same way. So the dog is unhappy, and it's hard for them to be around you. There's something there to explore. Okay, back to Pongo and Hawthorne. All right. So that first afternoon and evening, I was admittedly very tired. I had left one sit and came straight to this one, and actually did some extra driving back and forth just because timing wise, I had to cover both for a few hours. Very long day. My partner was with me, but he had tested positive for COVID not that long ago, so we weren't physically close. There's some positives to that. It's kind of interesting to kind of re-explore what it could be in at the beginning of a relationship before we've become sexually involved. And then, interestingly, a lot of the love shows I'm watching are all talking about that, like the slow build and the not necessarily touching immediately. Jewish matchmaker or Jewish matchmaking, whatever that one's called. I fucking love that show. It's a great show. Learned a lot. Okay, where am I? Pongo and Hawthorne. So today, Pongo just told me he loves me. And I think that's one of my favorite things actually about pet sitting is like, I literally am going around falling in love with dogs and they're falling in love with me. Like, so honestly, I think maybe there's a lot of folks who are, they identify as polyamorous, and maybe some believe that only humans are a way to be polyamorous. But perhaps if I say, hey, you know what, you can be like, polyamorous is not just sexual or just for humans. So if you have a very limited definition, then of course you're going to think it's really weird when I say I can be polyamorous with dogs. Poly, many, amorous, love. I have many loves. I have the capacity for many loves. My preference is one partner, at least at this stage in my life. I don't know, maybe someday. We're going to be together a long time. Maybe someday I'll be like, hey, I'd like a little lover on the side. But it'll be clearly communicated by whoever it is who wants a lover on the side. I'm not against it, just that's not what I want right now. One human person, but I can love lots of dogs. And so I get to have that new relationship energy, like over and over and over again. And it's just as sweet. It's just not like, it's not just sex, you guys. Quit thinking about sex. Not everything is fucking sexual. It's really not. Okay. Freud, that motherfucker Freud turned everything into fucking sexual terms. So let's disconnect from the fucker Freud. Everything is not sexually related. He just wanted to dive into the shadow only really cared about the shadow side of just fucking about everything. So yeah, there are alternative viewpoints to Freud, and far more holistic and accurate. Can't remember the guy's name right now, but in The Courage to Be Disliked, which I haven't finished, but it's still a really good book. I really recommend it. But if all you do is read the first little bit of The Courage to Be Disliked, I think it's in the introduction, it talks about the break that happened between Freud and this guy who's actually got it right, and I don't know, some other motherfuckers. Basically, they all ganged up on the guy who actually had it right, or in my opinion, had it right. And they all ganged up on him and were just like, no, we're going to go with this guy. We like Freud's route. Yeah, it was a long fucking time ago, you guys. You were all dark sexual beings anyway. Anyhow, so it's not all about sex. Anyhow, I have many loves with many dogs. Yeah, what happened today? Today is Wednesday. I arrived on Sunday afternoon and evening, and I did feel that there was a potential for actual danger. I had already felt I was in danger. However, I also felt I could handle it. So I did put in a call for help. I had a I scheduled with one of my pet sitting trainees to come over and just be present with me and or help. And so putting in a call for help helped me feel more comfortable. They're like, okay, even if tomorrow is still a shit show, I'm not going to be trying to do it all by myself. My partner stayed for quite a while. He did help me with some stuff, but also he doesn't really know. He's not really fully like integrated into my business. So he just kind of stays out of the way if it's dog stuff. But I would like him to kind of start knowing some more. He could have been helpful in some other ways. Anyway, so I had that support. I reported to the client, hey, there's stuff going on. I didn't get into too much detail, but I also did specify I've been shoulder checked. There's some, behaviors that are inappropriate and unsafe. I can't remember exactly how I said it, but I was honest without going into too much detail and freaking them out. So that's where we started. Yeah. Very little sweetness after those first few hours once they got revved up. Hawthorne responded much more quickly. He gave me his belly like really pretty quickly, but it was sort of this like, okay, I know you're in charge. You can pet my belly. Pongo didn't really give me full like acceptance until half an hour ago. But it was very sweet. So the way I just got lucky and I happened to be recording my buddy George and I when he told me he loved me for the first time. And it was sweet, George. I'm so happy I get to go see George next week. Anyway, I just happened to be recording. So I wasn't recording when Pongo just came and told me he loved me earlier. I wish I was because it was super sweet, but kind of like with people too. Once you've said I love you, you often say it a bit more. So maybe I'll catch another one. Anyway, he kind of slowly came up behind me, real respectful, real respectful coming up behind me. So, I mean, that's another thing. A dog can come up behind you in an aggressive way, or I'm coming behind you. Don't be scared. I want to get close. So I was paying attention to Hawthorne, the German Shepherd. Pongo wasn't acting jealous at all. He just came in this big old head right here, and just kind of was nuzzling me a little bit, sniffing, and then he wanted to give me kisses. And at first I was slightly resistant because I just wanted to make sure for sure that he's really giving me kisses. But so that like nuzzle doesn't have to be on the face, but the nuzzle and kind of rubbing his face on me is a real big acceptance, like really communicates acceptance. And then wanting to lick me under my chin or, kind of around this area is what they would do with the alpha dog. So I didn't used to let dogs lick me around there because it just fucking grossed me out, and it still grosses me out. But I see the importance of it, and so I let them, because within reason. I don't let them fucking go overboard because it helps them relax. And also they like to smell your breath. So anytime they're kind of putting their nose up, like just right around here, they're not necessarily coming to get in my face. They want to smell my breath. That's communication to them. So, yeah, I really wish more folks understood what all that meant and really just work with the dog. Anyway, so he comes up and he's all like, nuzzle, 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 nose, kiss, lick, lick, lick. And it's so sweet. So I was like petting his head and cooing back to him. And yeah, he's kind of like giving me a body hug, sort of leaning against me a little bit. Very sweet. And so, yeah, I don't know however many days that is. It's very, very common for the dogs and I to be to kind of reach that point where they're telling me that they love me in 3 to 4 days. So it's consistent. That's one of the things I'm saying. There's a pattern. There's clear patterns. Also, I anticipate and don't expect, but I anticipate a certain amount of testing behaviors when they border on dominant and dangerous. Then that's obviously a lot more work than if it's just like they're just testing, then they're just trying to learn how I respond to stuff. So that's real normal for the first 24 hours or so for them to just be like, do you know what? I don't know. In that first 24 hours, it's really important. I really want all of my sitters to plan to as much as possible. Once you arrive on that first day, do not plan to go anywhere for the first day and a half. Obviously, you do you. I can't really tell you what to do or how to do it. Well, some of it. I can tell you what to do and how to do some of it. But a pet sitter and the dogs will be much happier and be able to relax much quicker if day one is just like, okay, I've arrived, I'm introducing myself to the dogs, hi, how are you, waiting until they've calmed down a bit, then I start bringing my things in, then I go back to paying attention to the dogs, and start like slowly settling in and just kind of paying attention to them. So kind of they're wanting to get to know me. I'm wanting to get to know them. So I'm not going to be rushing around. I'm not going to be like pushing them out of my way so that I can do stuff or whatever. And then if I was real busy and I was leaving, they'd be like, what the fuck is happening here? Who are you hopping in and out? And it would take them longer to relax. In general, I actually make as few plans as possible for the entire sit. That's my preference. But not everybody can do that. But if a pet sitter could plan to spend the first couple of days in the house, or with the dogs, the breakthroughs will be much more quick. Will come much more quickly, and the entire sit will be better for everybody involved. Day 1 and 2 is usually a lot of testing, boundaries, identifying, boundary setting as the adult, as the person. I am very mindful of their behaviors in the first couple days around doors and around food, and I don't take a single bit of shit on that first day, that first 24 hours when it comes at least to those areas. Or of course any other dangerous behaviors as well. But I find that establishing me being the one in charge at doors and me being the one in charge about like when a leash goes on or when they get to go out and go potty, like wherever I can be the one in charge of something that's really important to them, but also I'm not an asshole about it. And then food is the most important one to be in charge. And so the very first time, I think I fed them twice that first afternoon and evening. The first one was extremely disconcerting. They both were jumping up. Neither of them were listening. They were crowding me. They didn't know wait. They were just, I really need to make these videos in the moment because now that I'm in love, like I can't actually remember some of the shitty shit that they did. I was going to remember to make these but when they're being assholes, it's really hard to take time to talk about it because I'm too busy like living it. That's why I need a simpler setup for recording. I just need to be able to just set up and record and have multiple setups. So I need to go on my wish list. Multiple setups for recording so that wherever I am with the dogs, it's already going. Anyway, there were a lot of power struggles that first 24 hours too. So I identified where do I actually have to engage in a power struggle and where can I just let it go. So like putting the leash on, I didn't insist on power struggles there. I didn't insist on power struggles around sit or, because I don't really expect them to listen to me on everything right off the bat. But where I would not compromise was around the door and around food. So those first couple meals, they were total buttheads. The Great Dane in particular, pushing at me, being in my way, in the kitchen. So that's where his mom prepares his food. She does it in the same spot. And because he takes a lot of medications too. So it's kind of complex. They know the sounds of every part of that process and they come running from wherever they were. And then we're all up in my shit the whole time I'm trying to do it. So, yeah, that's not okay. And then they were like jumping up and rushing me and all those things around the food. Like basically they believed they were in charge of when they were going to get fed, how they were going to get fed, where they were going to get fed. And the human is just like the carrier of the bowl. And yeah, they were all up in my shit. That's no. So when I see any of that stuff, I want to change as many of the factors as I can without it being overly extreme. So the first factor I change is where I feed them. If they're used to particular locations, and in this case, these two were separated, which is necessary. They do need to be separated just because there is still some, there would be aggression with each other if they weren't. So they were separated in a way that really wasn't ideal. It wasn't ideal for humans. It wasn't ideal for dogs. I didn't like any part of it. And I was like, I'm not doing this. So I moved the whole operation outside. I used the grill. The grill is not in service right now. There's all this open space inside the grill. So, and it closes, and I'm reasonably sure the Great Dane can't get into it. He probably could if he really wanted, but yeah. I'll keep everything closed so if he gets in. Anyway. Yeah. Using what's available, I needed to figure out how can I change the feeding station? Where could the feeding station be so that these guys don't have the same memory of how to be in the feeding station? So luckily, barbecue available. Okay, first thing I did is move the supplies outside. I put them in the house. And the other thing about the barbecue is they couldn't see me. They knew what I was doing, but they couldn't see me. So they're both sitting at the window trying to see, but they can't. So I'm also removing the visual stimulation of preparing their food. I slowed everything down. I didn't go straight from it's time to make dinner to pills to putting the food together to putting it down. That process got slowed way down and like broken down into multiple parts. So they saw me coming and going from the inside outside. They saw me like I was just doing stuff. It wasn't extraneous. It was me getting the bowls because I forgot the bowls in the other room. It was me. I had forgotten something else. So I'm still just like collecting. So it's not like I was wasting time, but I also wasn't doing it in the exact. What else did I do? Oh, and I take it back. I actually did not feed. I only fed them once. That's right. I only fed them once in the normal routine. And the second time I was like, no fucking way am I doing that again. And I went a little too far and I took the Great Dane like all the way out in the yard. And he was like, what the hell is happening? So, but at that time, I felt I needed to have him tethered before I fed him. And that's what I thought at the time. And I kind of think I did. I think that was appropriate to tether him. But it was also too far. So, right. Okay. So what did I do? So they're waiting for me. Then I still separated them, but they're separate in two different ways. So instead of the mudroom and the kitchen or something, I moved one to the patio and one to just outside of the kitchen. Just slightly different location is all that's really important. So yeah, so then I would just switch. So I did feed the Great Dane. That's right. So I fed the Great Dane first. At first we had a power struggle. He was like barking at me and he's like, no, I'm not going to sit. No, give me my food. He's like lunging at me and I'm like, no fucking way am I putting up with this. So I put the food away. That's been really effective with him. If he's acting out at me, like around putting his halter on, halty or whatever, he wants to go for the walk, but he doesn't want that thing on. So this morning he was barking at me again. He was pushing boundaries again, and he was barking at me and keeping away and kind of lunging, but from a distance. And I put the shit down, went back in the house, did something else for a little while, and when he was calmed down, he came and got me, and real sweetly. We tried a second round. He still wasn't coming. I'm like, all right, done. I went and took the other dog for a short walk. And came back, offered again. And each time he'd come closer. And the third time I could tell he was going to come to me. He wasn't barking at me anymore. He was just kind of being an asshole. And then finally I was able to get to his harness, his collar, made him sit. I did have to push his ass down. Like, I'm not taking crap from you, buddy. Sat, made him sit, put it on. Okay. So back to dinner. Right. He was acting up. I put his food away. Then he did something that I decided to just work with. He jumped into his bed that's outside. And he actually jumped into his bed and he sat. And I was like, oh, well, that would work. But he jumped right back out because he's like, yeah, I'm still not going to do what you want me to do. But I didn't go for perfection that very first time. But I did decide to use the bed. So I'm like, okay, get in your bed. He did. Sit. He did. And then we worked on weight. And it was hard to keep him back. I had to repeat it quite a bit. But I kept my hand up, like near his face. And I would put the food down very, very slowly. And each time he would lunge at me, I'd pick it back up. And then when I finally got to the ground, I still made him wait just a little bit. And then okay to release. The Great Dane has responded very well. That first one was as expected, lunging, being an asshole, but he didn't jump at me with the food. I was able to very firm. Never, I'm always very firm around food. Don't fuck around food. So we made progress that first one, but still no good, still tough. Every single meal, I just repeated that with him. Bed, sit, wait, slow putting it down. I think it was the third or fourth meal. It really didn't take very long. These dogs eat so many times during the day that I guess I get to do the training really quickly. Anyway, I think it was by the third meal. He actually was holding weight pretty good. Better than the Great Dane, actually. I mean, better than the German Shepherd. So now he actually is very good. He doesn't even like tremble anymore. He was trembling at first, but so sit, bed, sit, wait. And then once it's down, I still wait a few moments and we just look at each other. And then when it really feels like he's asking, not I'm getting up, but asking, then I release him. Very good. He's a very good boy. The Great Dane, God damn, I keep doing that. I think it's time to talk about something else because I keep. Okay. All right, the German Shepherd. Also lunged, also jumped up, also very poor behavior at dinner, but it only seemed a little aggressive. And I don't know, I'm attuned enough that I feel like I was kind of really picking up from him that it's what he knew, not how he didn't really mean to be aggressive. I think he was realizing in the moment that the way I was responding, he was like, oh, I'm actually being aggressive. I really feel like that's what was happening, that he was realizing he's overreacting because of the way I was responding, which again was not fearful. It was just like firm. And I did not give him the food until he sat and he waited. He still struggles, but we're getting better and better. It's a lot of like waiting. No, he's slobbering just like all over the floor, spit bubbles. He's just like I want so bad. But he does not rush the bowl. He has not gotten his food when he's rushed the bowl. The one more thing I add for him is as soon as I put the bowl down, I stand in front of it and look at him, continue talking to him. I can tell him he's a good boy because he's waiting. But good boy is not a release word. And he's learning okay as a release word. He seems to be confused by, being released to eat. So we're working on that. Snooze, okay. So I actually do think it was some of Pongo's regression into like testing the boundaries again. I think that actually led to him telling me he loved me this afternoon because of the way I handled it. I think he was just like, all right, you've shown me what the boundaries are over the past couple of days. I'm going to see if that's really where they are. And so he was pushing it, and he did jump up in an aggressive way. He did shoulder check me, and he did put his mouth on me. But the only reason he bruised me is because he's just got a big fucking mouth and big fucking teeth. So obviously I did not accept that, and I was the firmest I've ever been. But again, not acting in a frightened way, not acting in an overreactive way, but in a very firm, I am mad and barking at you way. And use as few words as possible, like no and off and down and back. And he stayed in that challenging posture and position for a little bit. It nowhere near as long as it had the first day. That was another thing that scared me a couple times that first day, is he was like, yeah. So I did not accept any shit. I was very firm. I didn't do anything different than I had before, except for it was slightly elevated. And so he's like, okay, great. I trust you. All right. You're consistent. And so he's like, okay, I love you. I accept you. Yeah, we still sleeping. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour or 45 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think it's pudding time. I'm gonna have some pudding. I really like pudding, and I can have pudding anytime I want, because I'm a grown-ass adult and I can decide to have pudding. I'm gonna go get some pudding. Good fucking thing I went inside. I just broke one of my most important rules, Pongo. I did. I broke one of my most important rules. I put something on the stove and I did not set a timer. So now I need to look up how expensive is this really fancy tea kettle. How expensive is it to replace? Because I might have to. It looks pretty damaged. Thank God I didn't start a fire. Fuck. I can't fucking believe I did that. Well, guess it was time for me to learn that lesson. How expensive is it? That's one of my rules. Don't use something unless you're either A, really confident you're going to use it right. No doubt about using it right. And if you're cooking, set a fucking timer so you never forget you got something cooking. $150. If that thing needs to be fucking replaced, it's $130 to $150. Fuck, dude. International delivery. How long is it gonna fucking take to come? Oh my God. Let's just see, how long will it take to come? Well, it will be here. They'd only be without it a week if I end up having to replace it. And so now I know the value of the thing that I may have to replace. Now, I know the value. I know how quickly I can get one from Amazon. There may be some in town. Let me see. Of course, they're way fucking more expensive. Way more expensive. God, I'd be embarrassed to have to even have to say that this is what happened. I'd be really embarrassed. Wonder what they have it. All right, I should calm down because this isn't, I don't have to do this right now. And something that's happening anytime that I really should probably get off of technology, I start to have weird little problems. Like I could not spell kettle to save my fucking life just now. No, I shouldn't say that. Not to save my life. Just okay. I have more important things that I could be talking about right now, like my pudding. I really want my pudding. Okay, yep. From Fred's, it is $230, so it's an extra $100. Let's see how quickly could it be from you guys. Let's see. Okay, so I can't get it from them. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait for it to cool off. I'm gonna go check it out. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look and see. Can I rehabilitate? Can I fix it? I think I may have just ruined my stove. Is there any way back? Pot's ruined. I gotta just get it ordered. Yeah, it's ruined. Okay, I'm gonna get it ordered. Still in my cart. Yes, it is. I gotta make sure it's that color too. I need to bring my own tea kettle. I can't believe that happened. That's an expensive fucking mistake. Well, that's what it is. But I also need to remember that I have an Amazon Associates account, and I'm gonna use it to. Hi, buddy. Hi, handsome. Sweet boy. Yes, yes. Smelling my breath. Does chocolate smell good? Chocolate smell good? Okay. What was I just thinking? That's right. I need to go to Amazon on my business account and look it up. Shoot, how come I can't find it? It was like literally cast iron teapot. Let's go teapot. There you are. Okay, I wonder. Okay. See, I don't want to spend that fucking money. I mean, I can't imagine they would make me spend that much money for the difference of 10 days. 132. I mean, that's almost, yeah, it's almost $100. I'm not doing it. Okay, you can wait. Okay. Oh, that's not even what I wanted, actually. I want to get the link. Copy. Especially if I'm replacing it. They can't possibly be mad at me if I'm replacing it, so I might be irritated, but it's also just a mistake. Okay. Okay. I set a time at time. All right, and I gotta change the address where it's gonna go. It's gonna come here. All right, I gotta go see this color. That's what I'm doing. It's eligible for free international shipping. Yahoo. Okay, let's finish getting that ordered. Nope, gotta change. I don't want to have to come out here to bring it to them. Okay, this is their address. Delivered to this address. I should, no, they can wait 1 week. Okay. Is it returnable? Let's just get. They're not going to say no need because it's fucking ruined. And obviously, all of their stuff is this brand. They want this. A tea leaf infuser hooked underneath too. Well, if they're okay, there's no reason for me to know if it's returnable. I'm just gonna do it, okay? Because they're gonna I have to replace it. That's just all there is. Be very careful when using people's stuff. Okay, I really wanted tea. Oh, I should change that name. Oh, I can change it. Go put in. Oh wait, will it not let me change the name? I should be able to. Oh wait, how do I? I just want to change the name. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to leave it. It doesn't matter that it's coming to my name. It's coming to this house, so. Okay. Oh, that's right. I was messaging my friend and saying, don't have to stress. Should only be used as a... Yep, it's not usable. Okay. So I need to set another timer. I'm going to take a break for a little bit off the screen. I'm going to set it for 10 minutes, and I'm not allowed to come back before 10 minutes have elapsed. Finish my pudding. Where is it? Guess I'm doing pretty fucking well if that's the first time I've ruined something that I have to replace. I broke one cup once, and the person's like, it's just a... No, it's fine. It's like a little mason jar thing. I think that's it. So, having to replace a $140 thing, I guess, in all those years is not so bad, but still, don't want to make a habit of it. I think I'm going to leave it unmuted, but I won't let myself be on camera, so that if I feel like talking to the dogs, I can. Yeah. Or if I'm gonna be cute if you get in the screen. How about I put it down so that maybe this can be a little bit of Pongo vision? Yeah, hi, buddy. There you are. Look at there's a cute boy. Yeah, I know that I don't actually really believe that dogs hold memory very long of like, oh, I did something bad a little while ago, and that is why you're mad at me. Like, I don't generally think that really is what's happening, especially if somebody comes home and their dog like tore something up like 2 hours ago. They're looking contrite because they feel your energy, not because they're like, oh, I did this thing. Sometimes I have had a dog come to me and I can tell that something's happening. They're very like, uh-oh, I did something. But especially with something like that, when the dog kind of comes to me and they know they did something naughty. I try not to get all wound up and really mad. Yesterday I found a roll of toilet paper that Twongo had stolen out of my bathroom. And he didn't actually even tear it up completely. I probably could have still used it. But anyway, I found it and went, oh, look at this. Oh, dang. Okay. I probably shouldn't have left this where he could reach it. And he came in and saw me with it. And he did, go like, oh no. Because I was holding something that he had chewed up. And he probably has been essentially trained that that's not something you chew up. So that's why I would think he would look at me worried, like, are you going to yell at me now? But what happened earlier when he jumped on me and put his teeth on me, obviously I was very firm and angry and would not look at him, barely talk to him. A few minutes later, he came up and was trying to basically, I think, say I'm sorry. He was like coming back to say, are you still mad? Can we reconnect? And I didn't barely talk to him. I think I said, I'm busy. Go lay down. That's what I did. That's right. I said, I'm busy. Go lay down. But then a while later, he came up again and it seemed very, very sincere. He was like, I want to connect. I want to be close to you again. And so I accepted it that time and we cuddled a little bit. I mean, cuddling a Great Dane means I let him put his head on my shoulder or something. Not that we actually cuddled, but talked to him and now we're golden again. Sitting a lot, I've been sitting a lot. I probably should get up and move around a little more. Okay, looks like it's gonna stay cloudy, so I'm gonna put this back out. Nope, come on. Is that as close as you go? Really? No. Oh, no, that's it. Nope. Reset. See the grass. No, there you go. Ooh. Okay, let's come a little closer. There. I think that grass clump looks like a creature. I don't think from that angle. Let's see, where's the angle? I don't know. This is something I gotta do with my phone camera, I guess. Oh, let's look at these. I gotta be careful. I don't want to drop this. I'm excited to see these flowers pop out because they're getting pretty close. Especially that one. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, you guys came a long way in just one day. I better get that on my camera. We need to record that kind of change. Okay, we're still gonna be Pongo Vision. Yeah, get go Pongo Vision. Oh, you smelling my thing? Yeah, you can smell it because you're curious. Yeah, a curious dog, huh? It's okay to smell it. I'm not gonna growl at you and say, leave it. No. Okay. Shit, what was it I was just gonna do, bud? Damn it, it was a specific idea. Oh, my camera. That's right. And these flowers. Oh, gonna do a short to art of processing because kind of stuff I put there. Oh, go take pill. What is that? What kind of pill do we need? 2:30. I don't think it's oh, okay. I wish I would have got you yesterday. Like I said I was gonna, but then I didn't come back. But because you guys came. You guys came so far. Okay, I really should be doing. I gotta do this the other way. I gotta do this. Okay. Wow, look at you. I wish I would have come yesterday. You close-ups because you have come so far. Okay. Oh my God, look at you. I sure wish I would have come by yesterday. Gotten just come up. Can we get in the focus, please? Okay, too close. Hi. Oh, that looks pretty on you. Yeah. Oh, hi. Extreme close up. Extreme bongo close up. Maybe these become is you know my voiceovers not always matched up with the best video. So I don't have to keep the how do I get this with fucking focus? Where are you? Okay, you know, that was just me. Yeah. You're a cool backdrop. You have to work with that. Use it with me. Oh, I had that really fancy lens bundle that I keep, or fancy lens kit I got for Christmas a few years ago. Ooh, come on, keep focus, please. Ooh, you just blew my mind. You just blew my mind with that right there. Oh my God. Okay. So I was saying, I'm sorry I didn't come get good pictures of you yesterday. I wanted to. I just kept forgetting. Learning how to paint with my camera in the great nature that I find. Come on, man. I mean, really, 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 when it comes down to it, this is like if my 13, 14-year-old self knew this was going to exist in my future, man, I would have been fucking pumped. I would have been fucking pumped. But, you know, my imagination didn't stretch that far. I guess I started watching sci-fi. Good thing other people's imagination is able to extend that far. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, here's it. All right, now pay attention. Okay, over the next few days, we're make sure we can put on cameras because they look good. Hey, oh, that's hard. No, come on, let's go to. Okay, I need that kind of equipment that I can learn how to use or actually somebody show me how to show. See, I can't get you on the screen. Why are you so big? What is gonna happen over this next week? Oh my god! I'm so fucking pumped to watch it. Yes, I'm so pumped to watch it. That's gonna be a good show, you guys. Yeah, I love that show. And maybe throughout the week, I'll get better at using my camera, and then we'll be able to get, like better shots, a little faster. Or maybe just like somebody who wants to help me is already really good at this stuff. And, oh god, that's amazing. Okay, I think it's time for me to get back to work, you guys. Yeah. God, I gotta be careful. I don't want to break anybody either. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, back to work. Let's see if we can find the bunny. Where's the different? I saw the bunny before. Oh, so here's the bunny first. Here's the bunny head. Here, here, here. Oh, maybe this is. Oh, okay, that's okay. How much time has passed? I think it's been 10 minutes. Yeah, that timer went off. I think it did. All right. 2:42. What is it that I need right now? I need to make sure I have some water. I think I do. Oh, no, I don't. I need more water. Okay. All right, I want to do, let's see, how much time do I have? I want to do a little introduction of Jeanette, who I'm about to talk to, before I switch over. Well, no, maybe I'll just go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to switch now. I'm going to go start that meeting and record it, and then it's all in one place. Okay. Bye-bye. This one's over. Let's go here.